Please join me in welcoming our speaker tonight, Todd from Idlewild, California. You get this out of your way?
Yeah, you're doing great. Thanks, David. Hey guys, my name is Todd. I'm an alcoholic. First off, I want to tell you thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. I really need this, man. How many of you guys need a meeting tonight? I need a meeting tonight, man. I hope this is a good one. Hey, let's get a couple things out of the way so we can have a conversation. I have a sobriety date too. It's June 3, 1993. I haven't had a drink or anything that's messed up my mind for 32 years, which is like stupefying to me. It makes no sense whatsoever, you know. I'm just so grateful. I have a sponsor. How many of you guys have a sponsor? Okay, man. Does he know it? Your sponsor know it? Yeah, my sponsor knows he's my sponsor. You know what I mean? He's been my sponsor for 22 years. I've got a home group. You guys like your home group? Yeah? I've got the best home group. What? Bring it. You know what I mean? It's a home group. Hey, if you're a dude and you come down to Vista, California, you want to go to a real good meeting, man, it's called the Robbers Roost. It's on Thursday nights at 6:30. It's just a bunch of gangsters, man. It's like Hells Angels, Mongols, Pinay, La M. It's got, we got Vagos, you name it, right? And then there's a bunch of painters, right? And then me. I know I look like Richie Cunningham's son, okay, but I actually fit in that place. And it's been my home group for 22 years. I've got a big book. I don't know if your big book looks like mine, man, but it's all highlighted and tattered and torn. And when you turn it on its side, it just kind of falls right out. I just had Chris and his brother, the Ramers, reseal mine, redo my book and give it new life, you know. And there's just beautiful things in that book, man. When you read that book, if you read it enough, you're going to start seeing new words you didn't see there before, right? It's going to have new passages. You're going to, well, that's new. I mean, if you keep reading it, you're going to eventually have like a sentence or a paragraph or a page that becomes kind of like your totem, your mantra, right? Mine's on the top of page 63. It says, when we sincerely took such a position, all sorts of remarkable things followed. I don't know how you define remarkable. Well, first thing, I guess, that's remarkable to me, I have alcoholism. And I can tell you right now, if alcoholism came active in me right now, if alcoholism took over my will and my rights right now, and it said it was time to drink, this meeting's over. There's nothing you could say to stop me. You're not going to bar me at the door. You're not going to plead or beg. It wouldn't matter if you were my mother, my wife, or my daughter. I'm going to go drink because it told me it's time to start drinking. It's going to tell me how long I'm going to drink. I'm going to keep drinking because it tells me I'm to keep drinking. Then it's going to tell me when I can stop drinking. And then it's going to start all over again. That's what alcoholism does to me. I don't know what it does to you, but it's what it does to me. But alcoholism just doesn't tell me it's when it's time to start drinking. Alcoholism tells me what you meant by that. You know what I mean? You might say, good morning. I'm like, what did you mean by that? Right? Like, alcoholism tells me we're going to watch all the episodes of The Office tonight. Alcoholism tells me I'm going to spend the rent money, go to Disneyland. Alcoholism tells me that I'm no good. Alcoholism tells me that I'm better than you. Alcoholism tells me I don't need that job anymore. Alcoholism tells me it's not fair the way you're treating me. Alcoholism tells me to grow my hair out like Jesus married a stripper, moved to Oklahoma. Never happened to you? Alcoholism is not just in charge of when I start to drink and when I stop. Alcoholism is in charge of my will, my actions, my thoughts. You see, if you take alcohol out of me, I still have alcoholism. I am capable of doing everything without alcohol I would do with alcohol because I have alcoholism. And if alcoholism is in charge of my will and action, something remarkable has happened tonight because it would never let me come in here. Alcoholism would not give me permission to come in here because the ability to abolish its control is in here, man. So the fact that I was able to walk in here, actually fly here to walk here, to sit up here to talk to you, means that something greater than my alcoholism has showed up tonight and has given me the ability to do this. And if I take some action right now, do something with this profound, remarkable moment, right? Read a little, write a little, pray a little, help a little, do something. I could have that power all the way to my car, all the way to my hotel, and even wake up tomorrow morning with it again. That's remarkable to me. What's really interesting is how many of you have alcoholism? Put your hands up. Then you are a miracle too. So all of us have been allowed to be here, and if we do something right now before we go, we could take it with us. That's a miracle, man. Another way I would define remarkable is my diagnosis as a kid, as a teenager, is schizophrenic, schizoaffective, psychotic. Yay. Way to go, Mike. You got a mental patient. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a mental patient. When I was a kid, I used to scrape my face with razor blades. I would never look at myself in a mirror. I wanted to kill me constantly. I didn't just have suicidal ideation. Was constantly having my life saved from me. I slept in the fetal position. I sweat the bed every night. I had odd facial tics and looks. I brought a lot of negative attention on me, right? Because of the way I would stare and think and get stuck. And so I've been stabbed. I was thrown off a building. I was thrown in a dumpster. I was thrown in a trash can upside down. I've been beaten. I've been called every name. You can't think of a new one. This is not random. This is what's called pervasive trauma. This is my life. And I remember when I was on the floor in the bathroom bleeding out from being stabbed right here at Townsend, I remember looking up at that kid with those matching jackets and thinking to myself, I might be small, man, but I can go get my dad's gun and I can shoot you dead. I could kill you. And I remember this overwhelming feeling of calm that came into me, like a power that I needed. And that became my new way of dealing with you. When you hurt me, I would just look at you and I'm going to kill you. If you stared at me too long, I started getting a feeling that you wanted to hurt me. So I would automatically just go, I'm going to kill you. And I was at a Canadian conference, and there was a dude sitting right where you're at. And I said, like, if you looked at me too long, I just kill you. Dude was like, crap. I'm much better, bro. Look at me, man. Look what you've done to me. I came into Alcoholics Anonymous armed, dangerous, mentally defective, and I couldn't stop drinking. Look what you've done to me with some steps and some tweaker coffee and a little hand holding, right? Stack some chairs, clean some ashtrays, and all of us. I have 8 kids that I'm fully aware of. You know what I mean? I have 6 daughters. Damn. Pray for me. You know what I mean? I have a beautiful career, man. I don't understand how I have my career. I have a home that I live inside. I have a God of my understanding. I sleep at night without anything to help me sleep. I wake up without impending doom. I don't have any warrants for my arrest. Nobody's looking for me. These are beautiful gifts you gave me. Look what you've done to me. See, if you think that Alcoholics Anonymous is about just not drinking, if that's your big happy, good for you. But Alcoholics Anonymous starts when we stop drinking. We stop drinking, then we get to work, because Alcoholics Anonymous is about change. And I want you guys to hear this. I don't have the ability to change me. Did you hear that? Maybe it's not loud enough. I don't have the ability to change me. I can't change anything about me. And if I can't change me, I'm so sorry. I can't change you. I can't change me, but I know how to read a little, write a little, pray a little, help a little, and go to bed. I said, I know how to read the book and write some stuff down, and I know how to confess some things. I can do that. I know how to stack a chair and wipe an ashtray and shake your hand. I know how to do that. But I don't know how to change me. But those things, with my higher power, have changed me. I have been changed. So if you're newer at Alcoholics Anonymous and you're here tonight, this is what we do to get rid of alcoholism. And I'm not just a guy that's trying not to drink. Right now, I'm at the moment in my life, right here, right now, I'm a man who doesn't need to. I don't feel I need to. That's me being changed and recovered for this day. And tomorrow, if I want another day, I'm going to have to do the work and allow the change to happen to me. Do you understand what I'm saying, yes or no? I am changed. So let me go back a little bit. As a little schizophrenic psychotic that was staring at me, I was a little aversion, homicidal, suicidal Mormon dork that walked around. You guys know where Mesa, Arizona is? Anybody know where Mesa is? I'm so sorry. Okay, so I was homeless in Mesa, Arizona in a park called Pioneer Park. It's right across the street from the Mormon temple, okay? There used to be a Korean fighter jet, not Korean, but it was from the Korean War, fighter jet in that park and a train. I used to sleep in the fuselage of that plane. Okay? You have to picture me, man. I'm 6'1". I was 137 pounds. I look like a used Q-tip, okay? I had white parachute pants. You could see my underwear through it. I wore a trench coat. I had a mullet. I look good, you know what I mean? Can you picture me right now, right? I'm that guy. Okay, do you guys know what a huffy is? I had a kick butt little girl's huffy, like little bicycle, all my stickers and stuff on it, all my junk and gray garbage bags, little light blue huffy. I look like a Grim Reaper super tweaker pumping up down Main Street. I'm that guy. I'm the guy when you drove by and went, I feel better about me because there's that. You know what I mean? Like, that's who I was. Look what you've done. You really don't tell that story when I date. You know what I mean? I don't want them to know what they're getting themselves into. You know what I mean? Man, I remember the very first day, I was just looking around for some power. I was so virgin territory, I never even had a Pepsi. It was against the word of wisdom for us when I grew up. So I never had anything, I never had caffeine, I never had nothing. And I remember the day that I first got drunk. And it was a psychotic break for me. Matt Kelly threw me down the bus steps face first. Is Matt Kelly in here, by the way? I'd like to talk to you. Anyways, he threw me face down the bus steps. I hit the curb. I remember blood coming in my mouth. I was laying in shock. One of my feet were up on the steps of the bus. The bus driver asked me to get my feet off the steps because he needed to close the door to drive away. So he left me on the ground. Now, I'm a mental patient, so all I heard was laughter. And when I got up off the ground, I went down daydreaming about murder, but when I got up, I was committed. That was it. See, I'm going to get my dad's gun. I'm going to walk the 2.1 miles to Matt's house. I'm going to shoot him dead on his doorstep. Then I'm going to kill me. Then you guys can see what you've been doing to me. You know what I mean? And I remember as I was walking, I thought to myself, I can just picture the kids going, who killed Matt? Todd. Yay! Like it was like a public service, you know? And I was really proud of myself, and I saw this cigarette on the ground, man. It was like a sun-baked, footprint, flat, dried out Marlboro cigarette on the ground. And I remember thinking, you're going to commit murder, might as well try some new stuff on the way out. I remember sparking that cigarette with my mom's kitchen matches and getting that first little nicotine, like, oh, I'm loaded, whoa, you know. And then when I came, something must have changed in me, because when I came off my mom's roof, this kid named David, he had this long black hair, man. He had the Ozzy Osbourne Bark at the Moon album shirt on. And he's like, hey, bro, you want to smoke? I'm like, yeah, I'm a smoker, bring it, you know. And we went and smoked something else and watched Mr. Rogers, and we laughed, you know what I mean? And then he wanted to know if I wanted to go to a party, and I'm thinking, like, I'm going to kill Matt tonight, man. I'm going out on I want a party. Let's go to a party, you know? And we went to a place called McCormick Ranch in Scottsdale, and there was this single-story building with a desert lawn, and all these cars were everywhere, you know what I mean? And I remember knocking the door, and a kid, I gave him $2, and he marked my hand and gave me a cup, you know? And when I walked in, that's the first time I heard Danzig, you know, Metallica, Megadeth, you know, Ozzy Osbourne, Kiss, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Devil music. You know what I mean? And I remember, like, I like it. You know? It was like, oh, he's like, he's talking to me, you know? Okay, I remember when I was wearing, I had this V-cut black shirt with zippers and stuff all over it, my white parachute pants, my Velcro Pumas. I look like Skeletor's kid, and I got so many zits, it looks like the red Milky Way all over my face. I got that mullet, like I got snap in my step, you know what I mean? Like, walk into this place, and I see this candelabra of vodka, tequila bottles, and gin bottles all over the place. And you guys know what Everclear is? Alcoholics. Okay, so they're pouring it in Hawaiian Punch. We're going to find out about that in a second, right? And then they walk me over to this big barrel thing with a pump on it, a little hose. You ever seen one? Okay, and I fill up my cup, and I got I got a head on it like this. I got a stripe. I got like a beerlet in the bottom. Okay, yeah, I'm holding it like this, listening to Megadeth. And then it brings me forward to when my first sponsor had me, when I was doing my first step, read the first 8 pages of Bill's story and identify where I thought and felt and drank like Bill, okay? And he really says in the first paragraph, he's talking about ignoring the strong warnings and prejudice concerning drink. See, I'm supposed to sell Jesus door to door in Guam. I'm not supposed to have tea. But we're killing Matt tonight, so we're going, you know what I mean? And I remember it coming through the foam and hitting me, and it was like, on, man. Like, man, I have no idea what your first moment of drinking was like, but man, it immediately took me to a place called like, I like it like that. And it took a switch in me. And I started doing shots of gin, and shots of tequila, and shots of Everclear. That doesn't feel good. And I'm moving, and I'm starting to dance to Morris Day and the Time, man. And all of a sudden, words are coming out of my mouth. They're making sense. And I got guys laughing at me. Dude, you're funny. And I remember, oh, alcohol, me, funny, good. And then a girl touched my shoulder. I'm like, oh, my God. Nobody touches me. And this girl touched me, I'm like, ah. And I was like, I wonder what she wants, And it was so exciting. And so I just kept drinking because I wanted more of that. And then I remember walking into the bathroom, and I looked at myself in the mirror and went, yeah. Like there was a certain amount of alcohol that seemed to make me make sense, you know what I mean? And it must have made sense to Denise Johnson too, because I got lit, load, and found love all in one night. And that's a powerful experience for a virgin, homicidal, suicidal Mormon dork. Give me a yeah. That was the greatest night of my life, man. I wanted that night to last forever. I was in a meeting one time, and this woman was like, I would never trade the worst day of sobriety for the best day of... You cannot have that night. That was the greatest night of my life. You see, I don't drink to escape. I don't know why you drink. I drink to be part of. I drink so I can be with you, so I can be a part of you, so I can be a part of this world that I didn't even know existed. All I did was take alcohol, and all of a sudden I had girls and friends and music and life. And from the moment I took my first drink, everybody wanted me to stop drinking. Matt has no idea his life was saved by Budweiser. It's like Prozac for me, man. It's medication. And I remember giving my whole life to it right there, man. I don't care about my education. I don't care about my values. I don't care about that church thing. It's all mythology anyways. I don't care about any of this crap, man. If you give me this, just give me a life worth living. Nobody ever sat me down and said, wow, you have potential. You know what? I know I'm not going to have a long life. I'm not even going to have a good life. But I want a life at least worth living. So I gave myself to it right there, And I'm 15 years old, man. Alcohol started to change me. In about a handful of months, all of a sudden my hair is growing out like Winger. You know what I mean? I got all black and I got swag. And I walk up to my mom on a Friday night and say, hey, Mom, I need the car. I'm going to go party. And my mom's like, I don't know what party means, but you're 15, you're not taking the car? Well, my mom takes half a Valium so she can get some rest at night. So I crushed 3 and I put her in a frisk and knocked her out. And then I set her down, whatever, you never thought of it. Okay, so I set her down really, really still. And then I drove the Buick Regal station wagon until 5 in the morning. And when I come back, she ain't moved. So now I'm thinking I might have killed her. So at 10 o'clock in the morning, my mom wakes up and goes, I slept so good. I'm like, 3, that's your dose, good night. Dude, I will drug you. You have to picture me. I'm a creature, man. I make up fake accents, fake backstories. I can't tell the truth even if it will get me a prize. I have great jobs, man, at Kentucky Fried Chicken, Burger King, Taco Bell. I got fired from Wendy's in a day. I've been arrested so often it's a mode of transportation. I am not the person you allow in your bathroom without adult supervision. I'm going to rob you. Do not let me hang out with your girlfriend for long. I'm going to go for it. I'm that guy. But the one thing I could count on once in a while really working for me, man, I don't know about you, but I start getting excited even at the idea that I'm going to drink. See, I'm in the shower getting ready to go to the party, and I'm starting to get thrilled. When I walk into the bar and I see those bottles, all of a sudden it's going to be a great night. It's going to be the best night I've ever had. But when I take that first sip, man, I'm done. I have no idea what's going to happen next. Now, I could tell you all the wonderful long stories of what happened to me as I drank. I could tell you about the night I burned off all my eyebrows. That was fun. I could tell you about all these great stories, but it has no bearing on me being an alcoholic. Here's what basically makes me an alcoholic. When I take a drink, I cannot accurately predict what's going to happen next because I'm not in charge. And even though it'd be a good idea for me to not take that first drink, I don't know how to do that. I do it against my will, period. And I didn't know what that was. But I did move out of Arizona, and I moved to Huntington Beach, California, because Arizona was getting kind of hot. And they were looking for me. I brought myself to HB, to Huntington Beach, and I brought me with me, and it all started all over again. And so as it was just getting worse and worse, I remember sitting in the last few months of my drinking, I was 25 years old, sitting in my walk-in closet in my underwear, just drinking and crying. .38 special on my lap. Put that gun in my mouth too many times to even tell you I know what that barrel tastes like. And just daring myself to end it, man. I just was so hurting. And that's not what alcohol and I had made a deal to do. I said, I'll give you everything in my life if you give me a life worth living. And now when I drink or don't drink, I just want to die all the time. And that night I said the only kind of prayer I even knew, because I didn't believe in God. I just said, you're going to have to stop me. And that night I was coming home from live bait in Seal Beach. I had a pretty good night. These two girls asked me to follow them home. And on the way home, they were going pretty quick, but I'm a good follower. And then the cop pulls me over on PCH and Main Street and says, where are you going? I said, I'm following those girls, officer. He goes, you're doing 100 miles per hour. That's not following. That's called chasing. I don't hear so good. Okay, so anyways, I got arrested that night, and it was kind of a wussy charge. I got DUI. You know, you don't get to, I was inside for like 4 hours, bro. You know, like it's not a big charge, but it changed my life. I got a court card and I had to get 2 signatures at Alcoholics Anonymous. 2. And it only took 1, man. And I think that June 3, 1993 is my sober date because of June 2 of 1993. And all I can tell, I'm not going to tell you about that night. All I'm going to tell you is it was so shameful, so demoralizing, so life-threatening, so horrifying that I even survived it, that on the morning of June 3 of 1993, I decided maybe I need to go see what you guys have to offer. So I've got some emotional problems and mental problems, and I'm not really concerned with people, so I went to a place called Howe Hall in Huntington Beach, California. It was on beach in Atlanta, and I remember getting there about 30 minutes early. And I remember walking into the room, and it had little Goodwill chairs everywhere, and it had a little to-do list on the wall, and then and there was like little blue Bible stacked up over in the corner, and then there was an old, like Moses old guy, palsy shake old, and he's over there making coffee, and he's scooping, and nobody's telling him to stop. You know what I mean? He just scooping. And I walked over to this guy, and I said, hey, I need to get my court card signed, and I'm crazy. Can you help me? Hey, if you're new in Alcoholics Anonymous and you don't want to get sober, you do not say that to an old person in AA, because that translates to, will you be my sponsor? Apparently that's what that means. And he says, my name is Carl, you sit down and I'll help you. And he actually sounded like Arnie. He had a German accent. He was like, sit down over there and I'll help you. It's like the little old Moses Carl, like Terminator over there. So I sit down and I'm watching you guys, man. I'm trying to figure out what your get down is. You got little nicknames like Big Book Bob and Stinky Pete, and you guys got little speeches you've been practicing in front of the mirror so you can sound good. Little speeches, little Tony Robbins speeches, and then you guys get so happy when you I didn't drink, and everyone's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, if I don't drink, I kill people. That's not great, you know. And I'm watching you guys say little buddy fuzzy slipper, and you're like, yeah, keep coming back. That's awesome. And it made no sense to me. And so all of a sudden it hit me how you do this. See, I know how you do it. You go, I won't drink if you don't drink. I won't drink if you don't drink. You call me every day, I don't call you every day. We'll go to a meeting every single day. Get rid of your friends, get rid of your friends. That's a cult. As soon as I realized you were a cult, dude, I was like, I don't want to be a part of your cult, man. I've already been in one. I don't want to be another one. I got to get out of here. And so I just remember thinking, like, you got nothing for me, man. All I heard was don't drink no matter what. We don't drink. Isn't it great we don't drink? But you know what? Before I drank, I was on my way to kill Matt. Before I drank, I wanted to kill me. So you can't take the only thing that has ever helped me unless you've got something better than what I've already got. And I didn't hear it. I didn't know what alcoholism was. So I just remember I'm going to Lucky John's. I'm going to shoot pool. I'm going to get drunk, find something chickish, and have a great night, you know? And I remember this kid next to me, he gets super excited. He's like, oh, it's so beautiful. When we get down, we hold hands and pray. I'm going to kill you. You're not touching me, man. So I got up and went to the bathroom, and you guys were all doing your cuddling. And then when it was all done, man, I'm beelining out of here because alcoholism's calling me. And this is when Carl didn't get the 12-step award for telling a new guy to sit down. Carl got up and got between me and the door. See, Carl knew I had alcoholism and that something remarkable had happened, and I've been allowed to come in, but I don't know what I got. I don't know what it's doing to me. I don't know what you got. He just knew that something greater than alcoholism had pointed me out and decided that I should have a chance. There are 800 million alcoholics in the world. Less than 0.04% of them are sober. What are the odds you even make it in this room? And something greater than alcoholism had brought me in here. And he felt that it was important to honor that. So he got between me and the door and he gave me a book. I thought we all got one. Oh, thank you for your book, And they asked me for my address. Now I was court ordered to be with you, so I didn't know if it was illegal to give him the fake one. So I gave him the real address, And then he gives me a key. And I remember you guys get little happy buttons for doing special stuff or something, like little medals. And so I thought it was like my key to life or something. And then he goes like, hey, what time do you get off work tomorrow? And I'm like, bro, you will ask a lot of information for an anonymous program. He goes, dude, we elected you the coffee maker. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, you need to be here 30 minutes early every Thursday for the next 6 months. First up, I was only supposed to be here twice. You just extended my sentence. That's a bait and switch. And then secondly, all of a sudden, you will not understand this if you've never made coffee, okay? But I was like, I'm gonna make the best damn coffee they ever had. I was like Ralphie and Chris's story, just imagining, daydreaming about y'all going, who made this fine coffee? Thank you. Because I worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken, man. I know coffee, And so I was all excited to make coffee. So instead of going to Lucky John's, I went to Vaughn's. And I got all this coffee stuff, and I went home to my house. Now, my house is an unsober living environment. It's 5 dudes living in a beach house, man. It's strip pool every single night. You put your cigarettes out on the carpet. It's cool, right? If you open our fridge, all we've got is Kessler, Smooth as Silk, a bunch of beer, vodka, tequila, absenta, and a pack of hot dogs. That's all that's going on in there, man. There's always like a construction worker, a lawyer, a couple of skate kids, and a chick with a baby in a diaper. You guys ever been in my house? That's my house, man. I come with AA stuff, and they're like, how was your meeting? And I'm like, oh my God. And I run upstairs, and I hide in my room and slam the door. I got to stay sober, I'm making coffee. I'm taking this very seriously, So I stayed in bed all night long, and the next morning I'm like, damn, I'm 25 years old. When I'm 75 years old, I'm gonna be 50 years sober. That's like a record, right? And then I seen you guys. I figured I could rule you. I figured you were so blessed to have me in your life. Couldn't wait to be with you. You know what I mean? I was super sober, right? And I was ready to be sober for the rest of my life right there. The power was still there, but I did nothing except for go to work. So by noon, the power was over-consumed by alcoholism. By noon, it was like, you're not doing that, man. You're going to go to Lucky John's, you're going to get drunk, you're going to find a girl who's going to wreck your life, and I'll point her out. Go home, get that cool shirt on, get that pool stick, and just follow instructions. And I was like, okay. And that was it. That was it. That was the end of my sober career, right there in the car. So as I'm driving home, man, I'm driving to my house, there's Carl out front of my house like a little stalker. Apparently, what time to get off work means we had a date. And he was just waiting for me, man. And he tells me to get in the car. I was a court appointed to be with you guys, so I didn't know if it was illegal to tell him no. So for all intents and purposes, he kidnapped me. You know what I mean? I'm getting in the car with him. He's like, we're going to go give it away. I don't know what we got. And he goes, sobriety. Dude, I don't know if you're counting, but I got like 22 and a half hours of sobriety. And here's what he says to me, and this is something that Carl is constantly changing my life. And he said, listen, you're going to hear a lot of people at meetings say things like, you can't give something away you don't got. I don't want you to listen to all that crap. I want you to hear, you get what you give. You come into the meeting and freely, cheerfully, without expense, without anything, you get given sobriety. But you don't stack a chair, you don't shake a hand, you don't help anyone, you don't say anything, you don't do anything to give it back. And many times it can be taken from you before you even get back to your car. You give what you get what you give, he said. So you got sobriety, so give it if you want some more. You got a day, give a little back, we'll get you another day. We're going to a place called Charlie Street. And Charlie Street's the first homeless, primarily for homeless indigent men treatment center. It's been in Orange County, California since 1956 in Costa Mesa. And when we walk in there, man, there's 2 other guys with Carl, and they're all in like nice clothes, And I see my brothers there. These are men I was out in the street with. I can see the look on their face, man. I know what they're going through. And they don't look happy, they look tore up. And I remember watching Carl and Mike and John say things like, me too. And I'm like, wait a minute, you guys were homeless too? Oh yeah, we were we're urban campers. You know what I mean? You're not that unique. I was like, oh man, I felt like I was especially broken, But they were saying me too, these guys. They were getting on crisscross applesauce, looking right at their faces and saying, I'll stick with you, brother, I got you. They weren't being condescending. They weren't lecturing. They were being beautiful to these men. And I remember going, Carl, what is this? And he goes, oh, dude, those meetings are real important. You should do a bunch of them. But meetings are not what we do. And I can't wait I just want to hand out at least 2 resentments tonight. I really do. Meetings are not what we do. Meetings are where we come to report on what we're doing. Do you understand the difference? Meetings are where we come to report on what we're doing. And you can feel like you're doing nothing but still have a report. Watch this. You can have 1 day of sobriety and say, this is my first day. I don't know if I'm an alcoholic, but I'm here. That's a report. You can have 30 days. You can go, I'm going to 3 meetings a week, and sometimes I want to drink really bad, and sometimes I'm okay. I got a big book. I'm reading it a little. That's a report. You can have 90 days and say, I got through my steps, but sometimes I daydream about drinking, but I'm not going to today. You could have 1 year and say, I have used these steps and they have changed my life. They have completely revolutionized my thinking. I am not the person that walked in here. That person is no longer here. This program has completely ruined my old life and destroyed it. I have a new sense of freedom and a power greater than myself that helps me and guides me in my daily actions. And I don't think about drinking hardly ever. And if there's any man in here that wants to get help, I will show you how I did it. I'm ready to be here with you. That's a report. That's what meetings are for. He said what we do here, this is where we bring the message of recovery to those who can't get to it and need it. They can't leave here and drive over there, so let's go give them. So I want you to go find somebody and give them your report. So I walk in there, and this old dude just leaning against the wall like this. And I stand in front of him, man, I look like so young. And so I stare at him, he goes, how do you stay sober? I go, bro, I make coffee. And he goes, wow, that's deep. I remember sitting with him, man. I remember sitting with him. He was the first person I got to talk to and say, I'll do it if you do it, man. He's the first person I got to sit down and say, I won't do it if I will come pick you up if you need a ride, man. I want you to stay sober if you want to stay sober, and I'll stay sober if you do. We'll do it together. And I just started thinking, wait a minute, maybe, just maybe, all of my drinking, all of my bad behavior, all of my lying, all of my bad deeds could be useful in a place like this. Maybe, just maybe, my mental problems, my brokenness could be useful in a place like this. Maybe, just maybe, a place like this could be useful for a guy like me. And I had, for the first time in my life, I started thinking, maybe there's a reason for me to be here. And I remember sitting in the car with Carl, and Carl goes like, man, are you thirsty? I said, no, man, I'm not thirsty at all. I don't know what I'm feeling. He goes, good, we're going to an old timers meeting. And I just wanted you to know I only went there because I was curious what men older than Carl look like. So I look at all these old timers, man, I love these guys. All these oxygen tank timers, man. I fell in love with, I want to tell you, men, if you're here, and you've been around for so long, man, I'm going to give you my opinion. People who say that time doesn't matter or we all use God today, well, good for you. We all do God for today. But let me tell you something. If you read a little, write a little, pray a little, help a little every single day, and you keep being changed by that process, and you go through tragedies that nobody's ever been through, and you survive death and cancer and divorce and pain and anguish, and you stand above it with God behind you, you grow wisdom and depth and clarity and peace and vision. And so I'm so sorry, but time matters. And those men had something I didn't have, and I wanted it. So I just hung around them like Spider in, like Goodfellas, just walking around trying to serve them, And Carl got me 6 coffee commitments in 6 days. I was the caffeine connection for Huntington Beach, California for 2 freaking years, dude. And And let me tell you something about commitments, okay? I mean, first off, he had me scrubbing ashtrays, stacking chairs. Do you know what a psychotic looks like as the greeter? You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't really helpful, but he had me busy. And here's what Carl would say all the time. First off, the meeting doesn't need it. See, this meeting, we're here to talk about what we do. So get in a circle, bring your own damn coffee, tell us what you're doing, and go do it. We don't need greeters and secretaries and treasurers and people reading little things and pointing at the literature. We don't need any of that stuff. The meeting doesn't need it. I need it. I need the commitment. The commitment is for me. Because, see, family has chores and family stays. And guests get catered to, but they're just passing through. And so as fast as you get a commitment is when you're more likely to stay. And so we need more. See that light bulb? It's dusty. It needs to be dusted. Very important commitment. We need to create more commitments. Not for the meeting, but for the meters. And so, like, Carl just wanted me to stay, man. So, and he did, thank God he didn't wait for me to get H&I qualified. It was like 6 months of sobriety, and then you had to go through a little orientation. He just straight up took me to Metropolitan State Psychiatric Prison, Unit 407, the Criminally Insane Lifers Ward. You guys ever seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? You know, wussies. If you've seen the folders for these men, you're like, damn, stay there. You know what I mean? They're like really, it was built in the 1850s. It has electrified fences and barbed wire and metal detectors. And this is the criminally insane lifers ward. They're not getting out. And then he took me to TRC, Transitional Recovery Center, Royal Treatment Center. These are schizophrenic wards. He took me to Chapman House for Kids, the suicide ward. I don't know why he was taking me to all these crazy places. But we went to the crazy places and we went and gave the message. And we report on what we did. And I picked up sponsees in there. He didn't know anything about the Step of the Month Club. Carl would, first off, he picked me up every single day. I had a car, but he came and picked me up every day. I just thought he was lonely. And he wouldn't let me read by myself. He would say, okay, let's start reading. We read together. And he would say things like, you want to come to my house for pizza? And I'd be like, all excited about free food. And he'd say, if you want a slice, you need to write. It was like bait and switch, you know? Carl was such a beautiful man. He was so patient with me. And I just learned later on when I read chapter 7, gosh, this line is so magical. You ready for it? Walk day by day with the new man. Hear the power of that. Walk day by day with the new man. Not call me every week. Walk day by day with the new man. And I remember coming up with a whole understanding of one day at a time. I remember later on in my sobriety thinking, wow, you know, this guy one time asked me if I believed in life after death, you know, like multiple lives. And I said, I 100% believe in multiple lives. He goes, you do? Yeah. See, I believe that when I go to bed at night, I put my hands on my chest and I lose consciousness and I die to self. My life is over. I am no longer in control of any cognitive thinking and I'm done. And as I rest, I drift around. And when I wake up, it's almost like resurrection. A whole new life. And in this life, what do I want to be? Do I want to be sober? Do I want to follow my higher power? Am I going to practice my principles? Am I going to go to a meeting? Am I going to help anybody? Am I going to make a difference? Am I going to do my best in this life just for today? And Carl was a big proponent, like each day is a new life. Get up every day and recommit for this life to the end of it. Are you going to stay sober? Are you going to be a sober man for this entire life today? And that's how we lived one day at a time. Walk day by day with the new man. Oh man, I remember sharing a really bullcrap fifth step with him. I didn't tell him everything, but I told him a lot. And I remember I remember when I got my hair cut. I remember when I got my first year of sobriety and I was telling Mike, he took me to the Salvation Army. He got my mullet cut off and I got a burgundy corduroy jacket with little leather patches right here. And I got these Dockers, these black Docker pants. Got some stains on them. And then I got some brown hush puppy shoes, a maroon sock tie, a blue and yellow and green plaid shirt. And I remember looking in the mirror going, I'm handsome. And I'm just so excited to wear my little suit to tell you guys my little story at 1 year. I was like, oh, look how far I've come. I wish my mom was here. By the time I got to 5 years, my whole career had changed. I had a car with air conditioning and a house and a girl. that said that she was mine and a whole new life. And I remember Carl saying, the only thing we ever argued about is Carl would say, you need to find a power greater than me. And I would say, no, man, good early direction. I'm all about it. Group of drunks, good early direction. Just tell me what to do, and I'd do it. Carl, look, 5 years. Look how different I am. And when Carl left, so did my higher power. And Carl moved to Philadelphia. I never saw Carl again. And I don't know, I would have to lie to tell you how it all happened. I just remember staying home one day and watching Star Trek as opposed to going to the meeting. I didn't have any sponsees at the time. And I just remember that lasting for a year. I remember hearing in a meeting, don't drink no matter what, and I decided that was going to be my new program, don't drink no matter what. Say my 7-step prayer, my 3rd-step prayer, my serenity prayer every single morning, and just, stop wasting all this time in this cult. You guys have just been switching in your addictions. Now you're addicted to meetings, man. I got a new program, and I'm going to stay home and don't drink no matter what. And I'm going to tell you something. With all that found time as opposed to going to AA, my life got really, really exciting. I started making more money in a month my dad made in a year. I got written up in the Washington Post. I was starting to trek the Sahara. My whole life was changing, man. And the only reason I came back on my 7th year or 6th year, actually, my 6th year was to get a coin for my mom. Because let's face it, when you drug your mother, she deserves a coin. And that was her 9th step. What do you want me to do for everything? Just give me one of those chips and keep your clothes on. I was like, all right, cool. So I give my mom a chip every year, and then I didn't come back for another year, and it got even more exciting. And then when I came back on my 7th year, I heard something I'd never heard before in Alcoholics Anonymous. You looked at me with horrifying faces, and you were completely silent. And it was, what? That was a beautiful speech. I don't know what offended you. It was probably when I said you're a cult, see? All you've done is, look guys, all you've done is just basically transferred addictions. You transfer addictions from beer to meetings, and I'll go to a meeting with you, you go to a meeting with me, sober, hot tubbing, borrow some money, make love with each other, we'll go to conferences, we're going to go to sober picnics, we're going to go to the weenie roast. All you do is hanging and huddling with each other. There's a big life out there, man. Get out of these rooms. I got a simple program, it's a 2-step program. It's called Get Sober, Get Some. I'm driving a car the most you're never going to have. I make more money than half this row. You got to get out there and live a little. And if there's anybody in here that wants to know more about my program, follow me out the door and I'll show you my way. Maybe it was that. And I remember there was a lady like, do we clap? What do we do? She wanted to clap, so thank you very much. And I walked out, man. I waited for you all to come running out. Oh my God, he's got the answer. You know what I mean? And you guys, all I heard was that same laughter that was on that school bus. So I didn't come back for 2 more years, and that's 4 years. And I'm going to tell you something, not a drop of alcohol. And there was some minor changes in my life. I remember I was in a conference one time. I said, 4 years, not a drop of alcohol, not a damn meeting. All I was saying is my prayers and not drinking no matter what. And there was a kid in the back going, I knew it. Listen, son, there were some small minor changes. Like I gained 80 pounds. I look like young Danish Santa. I'm wearing stretchy pants every day. I smoke 1 to 2 packs of cigarettes every single day. I shoot pool till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, 5, 6 nights a week. I can't go home. I don't know how. My steering wheel just won't let me go home. I haven't started drinking, but I'm cheating on my wife with anything that looks like a girl that will say yes to me constantly. I am hoggish. I cry all the time. I cry in my bed. I cry at stoplights. I was having meetings. I had 80 employees, and I'm crying in a team meeting, just starting to cry. I have crying fits. I'm crying all the time. I also have raging fits. I took my partner out in the parking lot and started a fist fight with him. I started a big fist fight with a guy at the Bank of America. I got armed, escorted off the premises. I pulled a Del Taco drive-through kid into my car and started beating him up. I'm carrying a gun again. I've got a Winchester and a .38 Special in the car, and I'm not a hunter. I'm starting to look at my neighbor, and I don't like the way he's looking at me. I want to die again. I just sit up and I don't sleep anymore. I just sit in my jacuzzi smoking cigarettes, wait until the sun comes up so I can get going. Oh, one more thing I forgot to tell you. I'm embezzling from my own company, and I started a little escort service, and now I'm a pimp. I'm a fat, homicidal, suicidal, Santa smoking hooker pimp. Other than that, was going pretty good, dude. Hey, can I suggest something? Can you not tell me, don't you tell anybody else you want to, but don't tell me don't drink no matter what. See, what you're telling me is I'm powerless over alcohol unless I really, really, really don't want to. Am I powerless or not? I'm not just powerless over the drink, I'm powerless over alcoholism, and it had me, it just hadn't told me to start drinking yet. Maybe you should chant, go to a meeting no matter what, get a God no matter what, sponsor someone no matter what. Use the steps, don't just do the steps no matter what. Get to a meeting and help someone no matter what. Maybe you should chant something that will actually give me access to the power that can deliver me from my condition. Because I don't know how to drink no matter what. I don't know how to not drink and live sober no matter what. I don't know how to do that. And I couldn't come back here. You can't feel, don't be mad at me. Don't look at me like immoral. I'm not in my own will. I'm being driven out of my will. Everything I'm doing is being told to me to do, and I have no choice in the matter. I can't come back to AA if I wanted to. I remember I was hiding in my office, get a knock, and I'm like a little tweaker, like, what? It's this little kid named Kyle. He's like, hi, I'm Kyle, and I just started here 9 days ago, and I heard you haven't had a drink in 9 years. And I was like, yeah, it's great. And he goes, I think I'm an alcoholic. Can you give me a ride to the meeting? I was like, oh my God. I'm a fat, homicidal, suicidal, Santa smoker, hooker pimp, but I don't want anybody to know I don't go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Wouldn't want to ruin my reputation, you know? So I tell him, El Toro Club, Mission Viejo, 5:30, it's my favorite. And he goes, no, dude, I need a ride. And then it hit me. There's a strip club in the same parking lot. I'll give him a ride to his meeting, then I'll have my own meeting, then I'll pick him up after his meeting, and I'll have an alibi. So all of a sudden, I was really excited about giving him a ride. So I'm driving him to the meeting, and you know what he does? He looks at me and he goes, will you sponsor me? I want what you have. Well, you're going to need some guns and some strippers. Because my program's complicated. Could you imagine if you were there, like, no, right? Can we all admit I probably don't have much to offer? Thank God you weren't there to stop me, because the moment, see, I want to kill me. I can't stop alcoholism over me. But the moment he asked for my help, it dismantled what was happening to me immediately. He was so close to me, begging for help, that immediately the only feeling that came over me, I need to get sober right now. We need to help Kyle. So we went to El Toro Club, and I just walked right in there, and I looked for the old guy. Old guy, what's your name? Mike, you're my new sponsor, okay? Hey, I got a little hooker thing we need to talk about later, but right now I need 2 books. So I got 2 books. I got the sponsor. We'll call this my home group. And then the dude was making coffee, and I walked over to the, hey, dude, I need to make the coffee. He's like, I made the coffee. And I took that coffee, man. I didn't know if it was the coffee or the books or the sponsor or the freaking, I don't know what it is, but we got to get me sober. We got to help Kyle. We did Kyle's first step at Goat Hill Tavern over a glass of Red Bull and Ice and a game of pool. And Kyle's like, I don't think we should be in a bar. And you can't hide from booze, Kyle. It's everywhere. By the time we got to his 3rd step, I'm on my knees, we're holding hands, we're praying, I'm crying, he thinks I'm manic. But I'm 90 days back. I got 10 years sober, 90 days back, armed, and a criminal. So that's what they mean by time doesn't matter. I remember getting my 10-year chip and somebody going, wow, 10 years. I'm like, that's right. And I was acting 10. I was acting. I would hear you say something and I would memorize it and say it, and I would quote things and sound really good. And I was just pretending, man. And let me tell you something. There's at least one person in this room, you know what I'm talking to you. You're walking around pretending your age, but you know what you're doing. And you can't stop because alcoholism's already telling you, you can't stop. And I'm going to tell you something so you hear it real loud and clear. When the fake version of us does the steps, we just get drunk. Or alcoholism comes back and we don't drink, but it's in charge. And when the real version of us does the steps, we get real different. And here's why. You cannot get an imaginary person sober. So if you're putting on an imaginary front, that imaginary person cannot feel the effect. So it's time to get real. I remember when Kip Collins, my grand sponsor, put his left hand on my shoulder, his right hand on my shoulder, and said, I'd love to see you get real. I'd love to see you stay. And that's immediately the moment I decided, you know what, fine. I'm going to do the words in the book. I'm going to read this. I'm going to find a dude. That was Bob. Bob, you're my sponsor. He's like, okay, lucky me. And I remember saying to him, I want to do exactly as the book says. Don't deviate from the book. I want to see if I do what the book says, the way the book says. I want to see if it can change a guy like me. Can you give a guy like me integrity? Can you give a guy like me peace? Can you help a guy like me not lie? Can you help a guy like me not hustle? Can you take fear out of a guy like me if I do that? And I remember going home and getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and nonstop writing my 4-step. And I got done at 2:30 with 16 pages front and back. I don't know how long. I remember one girl saying, this year I've been working on my 4-step. I don't understand that. When you are desperate to stay alive and get real, you can get it done. I know in about 8 hours done. And I remember going straight to my sponsor's house because the book says if you know who's supposed to hear it, you don't waste time. So and Bob was like, you're going to hear this. When a psychotic comes to your house and says, you're going to hear this, you hear this. And I remember sitting with Bob and sharing and sharing and sharing, and there was a couple times, there was a few lines I did not want to share. I was too ashamed of them. And I shared those, and I looked at his face to keep an eye on him. And I shared, and when I got done, Bob looked at me, and he lovingly said, you might need outside help. And here's what he was talking about. He wasn't talking about psychiatrists. He was talking about, and hear this loud and clear, we're not in the advice business. You hear that? We're not in the advice business. We're in the experience, strength, and hope business. There's a lot on your 5th step that I don't have any experience at. So you have to understand your 5th step is practice with me. If you don't have a home group that you can't get real with the items on your 5th step with, you probably have the wrong home group. You need to recognize there's a library of experience, strength, and hope in your home group. Crime in sobriety, cheating in sobriety, lying in sobriety. You need to go find those men and see how they use the steps and traditions to navigate their way out of it and follow them through enemy territory. It's time for you to broaden out and understand we are not in the advice business. I'm going to give you an example. My oldest daughter gave me a gift I'd never had before because my 2 sons are adopted. I've never had a boy that matches my DNA. She gave me my first grandson. His name's Jackson. Jackson was born about 10 years ago. And Jackson will be 9 right now. But Jackson, I remember Jackson teaching him how to walk, putting him in a Bjorn, taking him to the top of San Jacinto when he was a year old, going, this is the curvature of the earth, you know? And I remember how much I loved that little boy. On my way to Seal Beach to speak, he was 2 years old, 10 days old. He went through the doggy door when no one was looking. He went in our pool, he drowned, and he died. What's your advice? It really gets quiet in here when I ask that question. What's your advice? See, if you had never had a child that you helped raise, die, and kiss it on the silver table goodbye, you have nothing to say to me other than I'm sorry for your loss, and if there's anything I can do, I'm there. But Charles K., I spoke with him at the Southern California Convention, and he lost his son. And he used steps and traditions to navigate through it. So I called him because I knew his story. I said, Charles, I need you to sponsor me through this. And he walked me through grief recovery. He didn't tell me what to do. He just told me what he did and gave me the respect to follow suit. We're not in the advice business. So once I started going out to my home group and started practicing sharing my story and listening to their story, I started to know who I could go to for what. And I had my sponsor, I was accountable. All of a sudden my sponsees had sponsees. Now I have sponsees who have sponsees who have sponsees who have sponsees who have sponsees. I started having 15, 20 men showing up in my house. Book studies on Wednesdays, going to Metro, going to the SARP, going off and doing H&I, speaking a bit. And all of a sudden, one night I'm watching Toy Story, and I'm crying because the little kid had to give away his little puppets or whatever, his little toys to his sister. I was like, this is so sad. And all of a sudden, I'm like, why am I crying? And all of a sudden, I started noticing that I'm sharing and I'm starting to cry. I started noticing that I'm feeling really sad for you when you're sad. I'm starting to have empathy. All of a sudden, I'm noticing that I slept 7 hours in a row last night. I'm starting to notice that like somebody's offending me. And I'm like, you know what? This is just how they feel right now. They're not seeing the truth. It's okay. I'm going to pray for them. Everything I'd want for myself, I'm just pray for them. It's okay. And I'm starting to notice that I'm being changed. All of a sudden, I'm starting to notice that my career is starting to do better in different ways. It's more enriching. I'm starting to have better relationships. I'm starting to feel better. I'm looking in the mirror and going, you're handsome. You're not more handsome than anyone else or less handsome, but to me, you're handsome. And I'm starting to like me. And then my mom calls me at 2005, my mommy that I used to drug and terrorize. And my mom calls me up to tell me that she has stage 4 cancer. She says, I'm lying to you and your brothers and your sister. I have stage 4, honey. I only have a handful of months to live, and I don't have any place to live, and I have no money, and I have no car, and I'm just sitting here wondering what I'm going to do. And I just went and got my mom. I brought my mom into my house, and I gave her my master bedroom. I gave her one of my cars. I gave her an allowance. I told her, Mom, I will comb your wig, and I will rub your feet, and when you transition, I will hold you. No matter how long or short your days are, I promise you, I got you from here on out. Can you see how beautiful it is for a guy like me to finally be able to give his mom something more than a chip, can you? There was only one small problem. She got better. Dude, it's been 20 years, bro. She's still in my house. She's 80 years old, and I just got done spending 50 grand redesigning her bedroom. You know, I was like, I want this here, and this over here. She's going to Scotland. She goes on cruises, man. She just came back from Peru. Her life's amazing. What a miracle, right? Right when Mom was dying, I went and got tickets to Paris to celebrate her life because I thought she was going to die. And then I got my checkup, and the doctor told me I had stage 4 cancer. My mom was in chemo, and I was in chemo at the same time. My mom's dying, I'm dying at the same time. I got melanoma that got into my lymph nodes and in my voice box, and it was moving through my body. My doctor told me to check my life insurance, make sure my finances were in order. So I got in the car and I cried because I was feeling really a lot of self-pity, you know, like, here we go, I'm finally get it, and now Mom's dead, dying, and I'm dying. And I'm like, why are you doing this to me? And I called my sponsor, he didn't answer, which I thought was rude. So then I call my grand sponsor, Kippy. He doesn't answer. This is getting ridiculous. So I call my great-grand sponsor. He doesn't answer. That's silly. So I call my great-great-grand sponsor, Harry. You know, by the time you get to great, that means old as hell. And I called an 86-year-old man and said, Harry, I just found out I got cancer and I'm going to die. He goes, me too. Where are you going? Harry was so beautiful to me, man. You know what he said to me? He said, listen, we got to go through situations bigger than us so we can see the proof that there is something bigger than us. We have to have these moments to improve our faith, and you can't improve your faith with birthday cake. And if you look where your feet are right now, exactly at this moment, right where your feet are right now, you know you have all the steps, all the power, all the God, all the fellowship, everything you need to cope with where your feet are right now. And when you take a step, new power, new tools will flow in. Stay where your feet are. And the easiest way to get where your feet are is to help someone else. So he said, I want you to go push 10 grocery carts away at Walmart that don't belong to you. And I said, Harry, it's raining. Push 20. And I remember pushing him in the rain, just going, man, why do I feel better, you know? And then Harry died, and I didn't. My mom had a miracle. I had a miracle. I've had lots of miracles. The miracles of my grandchildren, the miracles of my career. My career has taken me to the White House, to embassies, to negotiating peace with Albanian gangsters and Greek politicians. My career is so much different than that little scrappy kid on the bicycle. I married a woman that was my dream years ago. My dream every day, she would come down the steps, I would look at her and go, God, I can't believe God gave her to me. 5 weeks ago, we were on a cruise and I was coaching 60 executives. And she got really sad about my son going to the Marines, and she said, I'll be back in 30 minutes, and she came back with a drink. The very next day, she looked at me and she said, I don't love you anymore. I don't want to live this life anymore, and I got to go. 1 week after we came home, she was in an apartment. 2 weeks later, she was dating. Right now, as we speak, she's on a 1-week vacation with the new guy she met. Alcohol annihilates everything worthwhile. The woman I married left like that. There's no coming back. She doesn't want to come back because alcoholism will not let her. Because the answer to alcoholism lives in my home. So she's not allowed to come back in my home, but she loves me. You know, I can tell you right now, in this life today, is there a power greater than your alcoholism here tonight? Is there a power greater than your alcoholism that allowed you to come in here tonight? Do you want to live this entire life sober till you get to bed tonight? If there's even an inch of reservation, I suggest read a little, write a little, pray a little, help a little before you go to bed. See, if you read a little, write a little, pray a little, help a little, and go to bed at night, something greater than you will change you just a little bit, and you'll be given the opportunity to try again and make a new commitment. And you live each life as full as you possibly can. The days turn into weeks, and the weeks turn into months, and the months turn into years, and the years turn to decades, and all the while you're changed, and your life reflects it, you know? So I want to tell you, I am not the kid that came in here. I am not better than any of you, but I am not lesser than any of you. I am literally the best version of me I have ever been. This is not a cult. This is millions of men and women standing up and saying, linking arms and saying, I'll stay sober if you stay sober. I'll stand with you. I'll read with you. I'll write with you. I'll be there no matter how different we are. I love you. We love each other even when we don't know each other because we have one antagonist, and that's alcoholism, but together we are strong. So I want to stay inside the center of the pack of the fellowship. I want to use the steps to access my power, my higher power. I want to let my higher power flow into me and change me. I want to put my hands on your heart to help you, because when I take my hands off my higher power can put his hands on mine. So I challenge you guys. I want to tell you once again, thank you for allowing me just to talk at you, because as I gave it to you, I feel much better right now. And I feel really, really, really bad about what's going on in my life, but man, I am doing really, really, really good. I love you. Thank you very much, guys.